NY Podcast, episode 3, and we are finally back after a lot of stuff has happened in the past week. I just came over COVID, of course. Bryan had
How,
COVID as well.
how come I get sick and you forced me through the longest show of this series, but when you get sick, we don't film for a week?
we also were done for a week, so it was nothing. There was no reason for us to film.
We didn't film last week
Exactly.
because you were sick,
Yeah.
but the week before I was sick and we filmed.
Yeah, but you didn't have COVID yet.
Yes, I did. I sounded like shit. Go back and play the tape.
Okay, well, anybody listening, sorry for Bryan being sick, and also apologize for some of the audio. I realized after I posted it, and because I was just like dead tired and didn't realize that the audio, it sounded like you were just like cutting me off with your answers at some points. And
Because I
so,
was.
no, you weren't. The audio was just
Eh.
so bad. I edited that terribly, but so apologies for that, and also sorry for this being so long. Yeah, I kind of pussied out and did not record this because I was sick, but we're officially back, and we're gonna try to be a little bit quicker now because a lot of stuff has happened, and it's been weeks since we
I need the light on. There it is.
Bryan needs his light on.
Yeah.
All right, so how have you
Oh.
been, bro? Are you getting ready for the wedding?
Oh God, dude, this is like the most stressful week of my entire life. I've missed you. I've missed seeing and talking to you like this. I know. I see you.
I
Oh,
missed
dude,
you too,
I'm
buddy.
itchy. Hang on, my leg's itchy. I'm still getting at it. And there we go. All right. Yeah, I missed you. I see you frequently enough to not miss you during the week, but I've missed you these past 2 weeks. So,
Yeah, missed you too,
and
buddy.
I know. You know what I wanted to do? Oh Jesus, I'm Creighton. Fucking. All right. You know what I wanted to do real quick? Maybe we could start off with it just because I didn't end with it last time. You cool if I take the floor for un momento here?
Yeah, I just want to say one thing first.
Yep.
The
Go ahead.
way you ended the podcast last week, I think that has to
Yeah.
be the new thing. The
Oh
stay pretty,
yeah.
Duke. You got it.
So
That's the new thing. That's how we're gonna end every single
where
podcast.
I got to run, I did. Yeah. So for those of you who didn't see it or don't have enough context, I tend to drink a ton of water every day. So the last 25 minutes of the last podcast, Matt was just rambling on and on. And honestly, I was sitting here like, holy shit, Matt, I don't care about St. John's. I really need to pee. So um, Matt was like, all right, you got anything else? I was like, nope, bye. Click. And I dipped. And then he was like, what happened? And I was like, I needed to get out. But a lot has changed since then, Matthew. One, headphones. Finally, I don't have the AirPods anymore. Secondly, I thought about this. I bought a ring light.
You bought a ring light?
Did $39.99, same day delivery. It was 4-hour delivery from Amazon.
Wow, that's impressive. I've been told I have to get one, so it might be now.
Yeah,
This might be my time.
So you don't drink alcohol. So, for the groomsmen, they're all getting some sort of liquor. I will buy you a ring light.
Okay, that's fine.
Okay.
I'll
get you the same one. We can match.
That sounds good to me. It'll be easier
Yeah.
when we actually do a together type of show.
Yep. Yeah, that'd be dope.
All right, is that what you wanted to take the floor
No.
over for?
Yeah, no, not quite. So
Okay, go ahead.
one thing I wanted to mention, because we were talking about the last time we were talking about Christmas, the holidays, how things worked out, player transactions, Aho. We were going through the whole spiel, right? So the one thing I did want to bring up rather quickly, and I know we are not, 1, popular enough, 2, big enough, or 3, influential enough for me to do these type of takes, but I want to do it anyway. Want to raise a little tiny bit of awareness here as we go into the new year. So, dork. Anyway, sorry, I got a text. Anyway, so wanted to raise a little tiny bit of awareness, just flex a little bit, if you will. So for Christmas, so a little bit of context here, right? So Casey's uncle Dan is a really really great artist, super super talented guy, and um, I guess it was 15, 20 years ago. He drew, and I have one on my wall behind me, and I'll tell you the story about it in a second. So he drew this mural of like Tom Seaver. So it was really cool. He got to meet up with Tom Seaver at some place locally in Massapequa. Got all of them signed. So there's 41 original copies of that picture. Super, super dope. I wanted to just bring it up because he's got them for sale. So if anyone is interested, maybe drop a comment in the comment box. Matt is going to be good at keeping track of those. So the only reason why I bring it up, because this is how I kind of thought of a question here. All of them come with a certificate of authenticity as well, guys. Keep that in mind. But I was thinking of a question here, right?
Okay.
So her Uncle Dan, right? Just different generations of Met fans here that I kind of know and have gotten to know over the years. So her Uncle Dan, basically Seaver is like his dude. Like that is the best pitcher he has ever seen pitch, right? I have another Uncle Tom who was like, oh, easily Dwight Gooden. And for me, it was like 2013 Matt Harvey. So for you, Matthew, who is the most electric Mets starting pitcher you have watched live in person? Who's your
Watched
guy here?
live in person. I mean, I feel like the obvious answer is DeGrom, but honestly, I really always loved Syndergaard, and he
Mm,
may have not been like the best pitcher at all times, but like just his whole persona when he would come out and like his entrance and like his theme around him is like Thor, and then sometimes like most nights he was lights out, and like honestly through that age of like when he was with the Mets, I know like now it's like not a very good like standing with the Mets fans right now, but whatever, regardless, put all that aside, like him as a Met was like for me was so cool and watching him pitch, and I always would want to go to like his starting like his when he was starting those games. So yeah, obvious answer is probably DeGrom, but like Syndergaard was always like electric to me.
yeah, I can agree with that. So I saw Syndergaard pitch a couple of times. And the two starts that stand out the most for me was I watched him pitch against Jose Fernandez. That was an incredible game. Nobody
Yeah,
scored the entire game. It was like the ninth inning and Bobby Parnell or some schmuck out of the bullpen gave up some bullshit blue hit. But the other time was I didn't go to my senior prom. I took all the money that I would have spent on renting a tux and getting a limo and going to dinner, and I bought field level Met tickets, and it was Syndergaard versus the Reds. Syndergaard Cueto, and the
good
first
matchup.
at bat of the first at bat of the game, Cueto hung a curveball over the middle of the plate. Granderson hit a home run, and it was the only run scored that game.
That's crazy. Yeah, probably would have done the same thing. Honestly, I probably should have, but yeah, no. So definitely Syndergaard. But obviously, like I said, obvious answer is Degrom. But I really don't have too many pitcher memories, in my opinion. Um, yeah, so that's my answer, and that story, yeah, really cool story. And like Brian said, reach out to us if you're interested in those Tom Seaver posters. Make sure to follow us on Instagram, TikTok, Twitter, pretty much everything. Listen to us on Spotify, Amazon, Apple, everything. We're also on YouTube, so you could actually watch, or you could see what that poster looks like. Brian just showed it before. Um, so yeah, make sure you follow us on all our socials. Um, all right, so a lot has happened in the last week that we've been gone. Why don't we start off with the Knicks, because they had that big trade with
Yes.
R.J. Barrett gone, Emmanuel quickly gone, and a couple draft picks and a couple other players that really don't care, but they received the big one, OJ Anobi. And we don't have to talk like too much about the trade because it's been like a week now, and we have because of sickness and stuff, we missed a lot. But why don't we talk about what we're liking so far? And honestly, I think so far it's a pretty good trade for the Knicks. At first when I first saw it, me and you were like, "What the hell are they doing?"
Yeah.
Because like RJ Barrett and Emmanuel quickly were like your future almost. And now it's like, okay, are the Knicks like in a win now situation? Because Anobi's been like outstanding so far, and really, in my opinion, he's been like playing pretty well. Like, and I think the biggest like difference you see right now with that is the defense game. Like the defense, he looks really good and changing the entire aspect of defense on that. So, what do you think of this trade so far?
I think that in order for the Knicks to have traded RJ Barrett, they knew they were going to need to get something of immense value, whether that was a because we've been talking about it, right? So every time we talk about the Knicks, I always say I think they need like a star point guard of some capacity. I really wanted them to get Lillard a couple of last offseason. Obviously, it didn't work out, but I think in order to facilitate a deal that included RJ Barrett, you needed to either get a superstar or you needed to get role players back. I think the Knicks took one player and filled multiple holes, which I think is going to help round out that roster going forward as they try to make that postseason push.
Yeah, no, I completely agree. And it's crazy because Toronto has like a lot of like star players like in their starting five, and now you insert RJ Barrett and Emmanuel quickly. If they keep quickly on the bench, like he's still gonna perform well on that team. And RJ Barrett, he's gonna be RJ Barrett, and with the New York curse type of thing, he's probably just gonna be a star in Toronto all of a sudden, unless he goes to a different team, and that just kind of happens with New York players in general, like in any sport. Um, but yeah, this trade has been pretty good so far. I was at my friend's house that night when that trade broke, and I remember looking at the like talking about it with everybody. And at first, I was like, I don't know about this trade. I think it's a dumb trade, but right now, so far, I'm pretty happy with it because, um, like I said, Anobi's been pretty well, and hopefully RJ Barrett and Emmanuel quickly do well in Toronto. Wish them best of luck with everything. Um, but yeah, so I think this is a great trade so far. Let's keep seeing how it goes. But the biggest difference right now is the defense and the Knicks. I wanted to say, the last podcast that we recorded, I said the Knicks had a test coming up and they failed miserably. Like they could not pick out a win, and they sucked honestly in all. Like I don't know how else to put it. They sucked during that little test I said, and you can go listen to the last podcast and the last schedule that we were updating on. They failed that test horribly, but now they like since the trade they've like came out like on fire, and they got a big win against Philadelphia last night, and I thought they played like they dominated that game, honestly. Um, so shout like to the Knicks, like I'm actually I think the trade really like kind of sparked with them, and like Jalen Brunson's still shooting good, Julius Randle's still Julius Randle, like that team right now is kind of like figured it out a little bit. So let's see how the rest of the season goes. I believe the deadline's still coming up, right? Um, so yeah, let's see how the thing. And I saw also shout out to Isaiah Hartenstein for that 16 rebounds the other night. That was pretty crazy. Um, you know, not many people can do that. I mean, it's very possible for people to do
You
that, but like
you
it's
keep
crazy.
you keep talking. I'm listening. My computer's gonna die because I'm dumb. Hang on, 30 seconds.
Okay.
Keep
Um,
recapping. Keep recapping. You got it.
thank you. But yeah, so the Knicks, um, shout out, yeah. So like I said, shout out to Hartenstein for that huge game he had. But let's see what the Knicks can do in the upcoming days. I think they had a pretty tense schedule coming up, I believe. Well, no, they're playing the Trailblazers, which you would think would be an easy win, but then you got the Mavericks. That's gonna be a tough opponent right there,
So
and the Grizzlies are red hot right now. So
yeah.
it's like another test right now because then like I said, you got the Mavericks who are who they're Mavericks, and then the Grizzlies who are red hot, and then you got the Magic next Monday. So it's kind of like another test. I think you have to come out and just dominate against the Trailblazers. And I said a big win against the 76ers last night. I was completely wrong. They played the other night on Friday, and that was a huge win. And then they got a nice win against the Wizards. So excuse me for that. That's my mistake. I'm human. But yeah, so we got the Trailblazers tomorrow night. Just come out, dominate that game, and get rest up and get ready for the next couple. The Nets are. Let's talk about the Nets real quick because the Nets are terrible. They
Yeah.
they
So
they're so bad.
the Nets are pretty terrible. So the Nets right now are, I'm sure you have it there, but let me be the stat guy here for a change. The Nets are at the 9 seed at 16-29, and they are 13 games out.
Yeah,
Boo.
yeah. I don't know. They got those 2 wins against like the 2 wins against the Pistons were like their last wins for a while, and then um they finally got like a win against the Thunder the other night, and then lost to the Trailblazers in overtime yesterday. But that's like a that I'm looking at their schedule again, and like I'm realizing how bad that stretch was. What happened? Like they were just because they like I said on the last podcast, I was like, oh, they're doing good, they're covering their spreads and stuff, and then all of a sudden, like they just went on this terrible losing streak, and now got the 2 wins against the Pistons, went on the losing streak again, and then got the win, and it looks like they're still gonna be shit anyway because then they lost to like I said, they lost to the Blazers in overtime. They got the Cavs and then the Heat and then the Blazers again. So like what are they gonna do? Go 1-3 or 1-2 possibly? And that's even. I don't even know. I don't even think that. I think they'll go 0-3 in the next 3 games.
Sorry, I'm having technical difficulties, but keep going. Yeah. So the funny thing about the hang on, do that because most importantly, I can't die here. So do that. It's good. Good, 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 good.
I like
So I
honestly
think
they just need to play basketball, but if they can somehow survive this like little 3 game next 3 games, maybe they can turn the season around. It is possible for teams to do that. Like this, it's still kind of early in the season. It's like mid-season right now. So, they still have time to turn it around, but honestly, I really don't know if
yes.
they will. But, you know, like we said with the Knicks, they're at 6 in the Eastern right now at 21-15. The Eastern is just so good right now. It's crazy. Um, but for now, I think the Knicks just gotta not the Knicks, sorry. The Nets, they need to just keep playing basketball. But honestly, I don't even want to watch them because they're just so bad.
This is like a blooper reel if I've ever seen one. Hang on,
Yeah,
another
I
30
don't know
seconds.
what the hell you're doing.
So I hang on. I'm out of outlets. Hang on. Oh, don't mind my ass. Excuse me. Sorry. 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 I promise. Oh my god, I'm breaking everything. Oh, I'm breaking everything.
Holy,
Lord have,
what are you doing, bro?
Lord have mercy. Oh,
For anyone,
son of a
please, if
nutcracker.
you're listening to us on Spotify right now or anything, please just go to YouTube and like skip to this part because watching Brian trying to figure out his computer, his light, and
Oh,
everything else in his
everything
little room
is
here,
everything
it's
is
hilarious.
everything is breaking. Oh Jesus! Now the light's not. All right, better. I think that's got to be better. I don't even know. I'm thirsty. Hang on.
It's fine, bro. Nice Stanley Cup.
Yeah, it's new. It's Mets colors. So, all right. All right. So we're talking Nets, right? I was
Yes.
listening. I promise. So, what did I want to see? Okay, Phoenix Suns, right? So the Suns are 19-17 right now. They're the 9 seed. I was listening to either a podcast or reading Twitter. I don't remember, but I saw this thing, right? And what do the Nets need more than anything? They need a leader. They need someone who gives them hope and optimism and re-energizes the fan base. And who better to do that than old friend Kevin Durant?
Oh boy.
So think about this, right? The Phoenix Suns mortgage their entire future. I'm out of breath. Okay. The Suns mortgage their entire future by giving the Nets picks to receive Kevin Durant last season to make the run to the NBA Finals. It didn't work out. The Nets now are in a position where they have a ton of draft picks. They have a ton of flexibility going forward on their payroll. What better way to re energize their fan base than to get a superstar who didn't really want to leave in the first place? Durant is a guy that likes to play. And listen, we can argue back and forth all day about whether or not some of the decisions he's made in his career are technically considered a distraction because of the way he's done it, the way he exited OKC, the whole Golden State thing. They knock out OKC, he joins them, wins, blah, 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 right? But Durant didn't want to be a net because of the presence of Kyrie Irving, who was a distraction. Let's just admit that he was a distraction as
Yeah.
a net. Durant was like, "Yo, I'm not dealing with this. I can't do this by myself. This man's out here. Whether or not he was getting paid, not getting paid, whatever the case was, he was getting paid a tremendous amount of money, and with that tremendous amount of money comes tremendous amount of responsibility that you owe to not only the fan base but the organizations that took a shot on you. They built that team around that tandem, and he just bailed. And like, listen, I get, not. I don't want to make this political. This isn't a podcast where we're trying to get into politics and people's reasonings for doing what they do. But at the same time, at what point it didn't work in Cleveland with LeBron? It didn't work in Boston. He comes to New York, teams up with KD. It doesn't work here. At what point do we not blame the team and blame the player? Which I know we're not talking about Kyrie at the moment. But what I'm saying is for Durant to be able to come back to New York, to a place where he clearly preferred to and liked playing, where it could be his team and his organization, and he can mentor the younger guys and he could recruit the veteran players, I think that would put the Nets in such a better position moving forward, and they have the capital to do it. So, logically, do a trade if it works out, obviously. But I think he could work out, and I think he could be beneficial.
Okay, so then let me ask you. Here's the starting five for the Nets right now. You got Dinwiddie, Bridges, Cam Johnson, Finley Smith, and Nick Claxton. So who out of I feel like you have if you're gonna trade back for KD, then which one of those are you gonna trade? If not both, like two or three, who would you think?
Well, that's a good question, and I would love to answer it, but I don't know who any of them are.
Awesome. Um, well, I guess
I'll tell you one thing. I would keep Dennis Smith Jr. because ESPN says Dennis Smith Jr. flies in for polarizing dunk. So he can dunk, which means you get the ball to him in the paint, as the kids say, and boom, points.
well, you can't really trade anybody from the starting five. So um you probably would have to trade Bridges again or just somebody from your second or third bench. Um
Well, I'd love for them to. A crazy idea would be if they could get rid of Ben Simmons. Has he been?
no, he's still out. You're
He's
not
still out.
yeah, you're not going to get anything for him.
That dude hasn't played this year.
I don't know if he's played this year or if he
Let me pull this up. I've decided that I'm going to go with my iPad now, ready to go. So that way I could follow what you're talking about on your end. Let's see.
yeah, well he
Oh, this dude.
I don't think
This
he's
dude
played at
is
all this year
this dude is only a year older than me, and he makes $37 million a year to do nothing.
to do nothing. Yep.
I could make $37 million doing what I do now.
You do.
I
You
I
technically do.
I collect dust. I just
Him
sit.
he sits and does nothing. Obviously he's injured, so he can't do anything. So we're not assholes here. But him doing nothing, you're doing the exact same thing as him right now.
Ooh, Did you know the Nets are playing in Paris?
Yeah, they have that Paris game coming up.
Nets Cavs on 111 at 2 p.m.
Yeah,
I'll
make
be.
sure everybody tunes in for that one because that's gonna be fun and exciting in Paris.
I'm probably not gonna tune in for it, but
Well, it's your little preview to the Olympics, I
oh,
guess.
oh, dude, I love the Olympics. You want to talk about an NBA fan bagging? Oh my god, bandwagon fan. Come see me in fucking July. You'll see a bandwagon fan. I fucking love the Olympics.
Okay, thank you for the
It's
aggressive
like,
love for the
yeah,
Olympics.
I fucking love NBA. Well, let me rephrase that. I fucking love Olympic basketball.
Fair
And
enough.
dude, the roster, has it been announced yet? I don't know if it's been announced yet or not. But
I don't.
I
No,
was
it's not been
watching.
announced yet.
I was watching on a very popular social media site the other day that does specializes in short clips. That LeBron, KD, Steph, um, LeBron, KD, Steph, that other guy from Golden State, I forgot his name.
Steph
He's
Curry.
really. Oh, not. I didn't mean Golden State. I meant Phoenix. Who the hell is that guy? Let me get his name because I know it and it's on the tip of my tongue and I just cannot.
Chris
What's
Paul.
this boy's name?
He's
No,
not.
no,
He's not on the Suns.
yeah, he's not there anymore.
He's not on the Suns. I blanked out on that one.
What's this
Ah.
guy? Devin Booker.
Yeah,
Devin
that
Booker.
guy. I was just about to say it.
He's a beast. That guy.
He is. He's
Yeah,
so sick at basketball.
yeah. The Olympics. Can you? I wonder if you could bet. Can you bet on the Olympics yet, or probably not?
Yeah,
Right?
probably. I think we were betting on Olympic hockey like 2 years ago.
No, dude. I'm gonna put so much money on USA. Who's gonna beat them? Probably not very many teams.
Not very many, but there might be one or
Wherever
two that are close.
wherever Luca is from, because clearly he's some sort of ferocious beast.
Yeah.
All right, moving on.
Well, yeah.
Let's
So
talk
go
some.
back to the next real quick. Yeah. So I don't know if they can make that trade with Durant, but we'll see. Let's see what they do with the deadline. Probably nothing, to be honest. If anything, they'll probably clean the house. But all right. So yeah, we can move on now. What would you like to talk about? I think we could move to
Why don't we save my rant for last? Do you want to go hockey
yeah. Let's talk
or
hockey.
or okay? Go ahead.
All right, so talking hockey, the Rangers won. I mean, the Rangers lost a tough one in Florida, but then they got a nice dominating win against Tampa. Another little note: the Hartford Wolfpack, they signed Anisimov, which was, I guess, a pretty good signing for them. Um, but then they lost to the Canes, the Hurricanes, and the Canadians, but then they beat the Hawks. Which so I don't understand like this team right now because like looking at their schedule, like they were able to beat the Sabres, but that was like near like we talked about that already. Beat the Caps, lost the Panthers, beat the Lightning, lost the Hurricanes, which I thought they would come out and like it'd be a better game, but they lost 6-1, which is insane. Beat the Blackhawks, so that was a nice little like bounce back game. But then you lost to the Canadians. I get it in Canada, in Montreal, whatever. Um, just like you got, I feel like the Rangers are a dominating team, and they're just not. I don't think they're playing like their dominant selves right now. And currently, at the time of this recording, they're losing to the Canucks 5-2 in the second period. Given it's still the second period, so they can come back. But my question is for like those losses against some of these teams, I'm like, what the hell? What is going on with the Rangers? I don't know what to. I don't know what's going on with them. I think they need to find a game. I think some of their point production has slowed down. Clearly, there's
So
some
they're.
games they could just score a lot and then
Do you say some
score
of their?
one.
Do you say some of their porn collection or point collection?
Point collection.
Oh, I was
Jesus.
gonna say like, bro, get your mind out of the gutter, guy.
My guy, that's you, bro.
Amen.
Anyway,
That's why I go to therapy. Shout out to Carrie, who probably listens to our podcast now because I talked about it the other day. So hi. Thanks for tuning in.
okay.
We'll see.
um,
We'll be talking next week about this.
Amazing. So happy for you. But yeah, so go back to the Rangers. I don't know what the hell they're doing. The Canucks, given the Canucks are a very good team right now, like they kind of got their shit together right now. They, they look good, but I think the Rangers just I don't know what they're doing. They gotta show up. They're a better team than this, and they're not playing to their ability that they can be playing. And I was watching the game before we started recording, um, and honestly, I wasn't really impressed. And then I only watched the first period, and I wasn't really that impressed with them. Um, so they have some work to fix on. Um, but shout out to Shesterkin, he's been all right. So is Quick, he's been all right too. Um, Honestly, the whole team's been all right. So I really don't have much to talk about with them.
Shesterkin.
Yes, good job. You got that.
Shesterkin. Yeah. So I will say this because again, like I said, I prepared for this moment. I have my iPad up and my statistical data analysis presented on my iPad. So the Rangers, Matthew, they lead the Eastern Conference in points, tied with the Bruins for first with 54. They're also our first place team, and I still believe that they are on the path to being Stanley Cup champions.
Yeah, I mean it's only been a week, so not much has changed.
Well, keep in mind, right? Every fuck, I dropped my iPad again. What the fuck? I need a better setup, bro. How do you? I don't know.
I have a
Anyway,
desk.
yeah, but if I have a desk, then you're gonna just look out the window. I want at least the. Yeah, I got the shit behind me, guy.
True.
Whatever. Doesn't matter. Doesn't matter. It's fine. It's fine. Here's what I'll say about the Rangers, though, right? I think every good team, and this happens every year, there's always one team that, they go through their stretch. Like, they lose a couple of games. They get hot. They lose a game or two. They realize, damn, we probably shouldn't have lost those games. Sorry, I had an itch. My belly was itchy. Anyway, so every good team, right? They go through peaks and valleys of like, yeah, let's win 10 of 15, and then they lose, and they're like, fuck, we shouldn't have lost those games. So I think the Rangers, you're right, they probably let a couple of games get away from them. I think going forward, they're still going to play pretty above average hockey here as they get through All-Star game, which shout out to Shesterkin. He was the Rangers representative, right, in the first round of All-Star revealing,
Yes,
as well
sir.
as as well as Matt Barzell for the Islanders. I know we're going to talk about them in a minute. That's right up your wheelhouse. So, yeah, I think as long as the Rangers continue to kind of bounce back off of those tough losses, especially capitalizing when they need to against the teams that are more or less pretty bad. Um, that's the key to success. That's the key to any championship in any sport is understanding that, sometimes the shitty teams are going to beat you, and it's all about how you recover against the guys that you're actually going to play in the postseason.
Yeah, you're 100% right. So yeah, the Rangers just need a little bit of work right now. I'm sure they'll bounce back though. They're a good team. They are very well coached. So yeah, they just need to, I guess, have like a tune-up game again. Even though some of these games were tune-up games. But yeah, so you're talking about Barzell's being the All-Star representative for the Islanders as well as just searching for the Rangers. So Islanders, it's so funny. I want to talk about this now that we're transitioning to the Islanders. When we talked about Sebastian Aho, Carolina, he got his 500th point the other night. So
Oh,
I
really?
guess, yeah. So I guess shout out to him.
That a
That's,
boy.
that's a pretty well achievement.
Our
Um,
Aho or their Aho?
their Aho.
Oh.
I don't even think our Aho has like 100 yet. So,
Well, pick it
um,
up, motherfucker. What are you waiting for?
no.
Sorry. No,
Uh,
congratulations. That's a great achievement. You're halfway to John Tavares at 1,000.
John Tavares.
John Tavares.
There you go. Okay. So when the Islanders played Pittsburgh the other night, I was pissed off. That was Wednesday, December 27th.
So that was
They what the I
the
don't know
game.
what the hell that was. 6
Yeah.
goals in a
Yep.
second? Are you kidding me?
So that was the game that I was supposed to go to after we did our last podcast, but I was sick, so I gave them to the kid at work,
Yeah,
who then called out of work for the entire next week because he was sick. He blamed me, which could be a possibility, but
probably
I
was.
think I blame the garbage hockey that the Islanders put out on the ice. There's no amount of free parking, and that's going to make me want to go and sit through that. I'm glad I wasn't there. I'm glad I gave those tickets away.
Yeah, good idea. Yeah, they Sorokin was looking lost in that game. Um, the defense looked absolutely lost on the fourth goal, in my opinion. That was like one thing I wanted to mark up here because I don't know what the hell they were honestly because I forgot who it was at this point since we're so far away from that game. But whoever it was just they were so far out of position honestly because by then it was like all right 3-0. It's like it's still doable to make a comeback. Once they scored that fourth goal, that was it. That was done. But I don't know why the hell they still kept Sorokin in after like that fourth goal.
So
I get it. You were trying to keep Varlamov like healthy for like the next game, but like come on, you can't. That's Sorokin's confidence right there. You can't do that.
yeah, that's kind of like stepping on your own man when he's down. So what is your so like obviously in MLB you kind of get that vibe. You're in say like put it into MLB vibes for me. Was that just like kind of the end of that second period? They were down 6-0, 7-0,
Six or yeah, I
six.
think it was six
So
nothing.
so is that the equivalent of say being down 12-0 at the end of the sixth inning in a baseball game?
Yeah,
Like,
pretty much. But it's like weird with baseball because hockey it's like it's harder to come back from 6-0. Like it's only been done X amount of times. But like baseball, it all it takes is just like one pitch and you start a rally. Like
yeah,
we've seen like 10-0 comebacks or 12-0 or like even bigger comebacks than that maybe in baseball. But like yeah, and in reality, and like not to go completely off the rails here, like yeah, it's pretty much the equivalent that that game is over in the fifth inning.
that's when they start putting the third string catcher in to
Yeah,
pitch the last three innings. Yeah,
pretty much.
I
Yeah.
got you. I got you.
But to move on with the Islanders stellar they had a stellar game against Gas. That's the game I went to. So the Capitals, they walked
Good
all
job.
over them in the second and third period. Um, I thought they were a little slow in the third period. I mean the first period. Um, I don't know why. I guess they were just like a little tired, but that's okay because then they came out and just dominated the second and third period. That was a really good game. Shout out to Pageau and Gauthier for that game because they were both stars of that game. I thought they were looked good, and then they had the big bad Penguins yet again and lost 3-1 that time. And the Penguins might
In
be a
Pitts
killer for them in
in
Pittsburgh. Yeah,
Pittsburgh or at home? Yeah.
no, they were
Okay.
in Pittsburgh. Just bad defense and bad goaltending all around.
Yeah.
Just the Islanders' defense is like on and off this year. Um, I marked down in my notes here like the first goal was just when it was really bad, and then that's when you kind of just knew, like, once they scored the second goal, that was kind of it. But
Yeah.
just as Islander fans, you kind of just know. But yeah, so they had a really bad game against the Penguins yet again. But then they went on this little West Coast trip. They had a really hard fought, tough game against the Avalanche. I really thought they could win that game, but unfortunately, they lost in overtime, which, again, cannot stop a power play in overtime for some reason. It happens. But to get a point out of that game, I thought that was really, really cool because then they came out flying against the Coyotes in Arizona at that little ASU rink, which is still insane. We don't have to go on topic with that right now, but a 5-1 win with that was, they played amazing that game, I thought. And then they just got dominated against the Golden Knights. There were like little spurts there against the Golden Knights that like you're like, oh, all right, we'll win. But what sucks about that game is that the Golden Knights were like struggling, like even worse than the Islanders. So I thought like they would go in and like show that they're the better team, but they didn't. They just completely shit the bed. But it happens. You can't win them all. But I'm not really too impressed with them right now. They went was that 1-1 on that trip. But now they come home against the Canucks. They got the Leafs, and then they go back on the road to the Preds. Um, yeah, so bad goaltending and bad defense. They just need to patch those up, try to fix them, get ready for tomorrow night, and just play some good hockey against a Canucks team who's going to be tired and who are currently, like I said, beating the Rangers. So you just need
The
to rest up and just be ready.
So I feel like this has just been an overall down year for Sorokin. Do you think that he's feeling pressure from the contract extension, or do you think that there are just a lot of different factors in how just off he's been just in general? Because I feel like we talk about this a lot. We're like, especially you, because you're a big Sorokin guy. You're just like, yeah, I can't believe I'm saying this, but maybe the dude needs to be benched, or maybe they need to start Varlama a couple of times in a row, or make him the primary for a sequence of games. And
Well, so unfortunately, you can't. Well, we can't start Varley right now, obviously because he's injured. So that's why
oh,
Sorokin's kind of taken over. But yeah, when I said that, it should have been Varley starting a little bit more. But Sorokin, like I know I was saying bad goaltending in some of these games, but he's also been like good too. There's just what I mean by bad goaltending is like saves that he should be making, he's not making, but then saves that he's not supposed to make, he's making saves. So it's like inconsistency, I guess, but like at the same time, it's decent goaltending mixed with bad goaltending. So right now, you're gonna start Sorokin right now. I don't. I want Sorokin to start right now. I don't want whoever our backup is right now to start. I think you need to start Sorokin just because of what the circumstances are right now.
yeah, I just feel like they're just not. They're not like a fully functional hockey team. Like they need to like come together as a group. I feel like the Rangers, all of their early season success was because they were just playing as a team. I just feel like the Islanders are just in a rut, and they're just not. They're not getting there. They're not getting the train moving. If that makes sense.
Yeah, I think because it's the same thing with like Trotz did. Like Lane is kind of mixing up the lines a little bit, except for like the top two. Um, you just stop messing with the lines. Let the players get chemistry with each other. Like clearly, it's working with Barzell and Horvat. They're finding each other on the ice. So they need. I think the lines. You need to find the line that you like and just stay with it and not change a thing. Because once you find that, as a hockey player, you just gotta find that chemistry with your line mates, and that's it. You'll be fine.
Yeah, I agree.
Yeah. So we'll see what the Islanders could do tomorrow night and into Thursday, and then head over to the weekend. Obviously we won't be able to watch that game on Saturday night because due to celebration things going on. I
We
guess
can,
some boring
dude.
shit.
There's bars with TVs.
What
Bars with
the
TVs.
venue?
Do you really think that Casey's family isn't gonna have the fucking hockey game on? You have been witness to what my life is. Do you really think that there's not going to be Coors Lights, not sponsored by the way, Coors Lights or and hockey on?
Yeah, I
Are
guess
you
so.
are you out of your mind, bro? You've been hitting the head too many times playing hockey.
Probably, yeah. Fair enough. All right, so I guess we'll be able to watch that game on Saturday night. Whatever.
We'll catch some of it.
Some of us will be able to
I
have
I
fun at
told
your
you I
wedding.
really want, dude. What? Wait, what?
I
Did
said
you say
some of
some of
us
us
will be.
won't be able
I said some
won't
of us
be able to
will
have
be
fun?
able to have fun at your wedding.
Oh, dude, I'm gonna be miserable. No, I'm kidding. We'll see.
Shut up.
We'll
Just
see.
stop talking.
Dude, wait. So you know what I really wanted, but I didn't get it.
What?
So you know how like, so if you don't, for those of you who may not know, Matt, you may not know how this kind of goes down, but when you meet with the DJ to go over the song list and like the playlist and what you not don't want to get played and like the overall vibe of what you're trying to get, and there's a lot that goes into this, right? Because what I never knew, I thought there was just like a playlist for weddings that incorporated everything, but there's not. Like it's very much detailed to the type of music that the couple like want, like what they want their vibe to be, right? So I said, hey, I have a great idea. instead of at the very end, because there's always a song that like plays, which means all right, everyone needs to get the fuck out. Like the venue wants to clean everything up and sweep and shit so that the employees can go home. So they always play like a closeout song. So I said at the end of the closeout song, it needs to be the Islander goal horn.
Great.
That totally got vetoed.
I'm not surprised.
Total veto.
Why didn't you
How
just do
sick?
their win song?
Because they don't win enough.
Fair enough.
18 and 11 and 10 overtime losses isn't good enough for me.
Take the
If you
10
take
overtime
if
losses
you
and put it
take
into the
if you,
wins.
if you take the 10 overtime, do overtime losses count as part of the win-loss record or no? Like out of the 11
Technically,
losses,
yeah.
but are they 8? Are they 18 and 11 and 11 of those are overtime losses, or is it a separate statistic?
No, it's a separate statistic.
So technically, they're 18 and 21, meaning they are a garbage hockey team right now.
Yeah, well, when you put it that way.
Yeah, fucking win.
True.
Shoot the fucking puck.
That's also 10 points right there, though.
I'm tired. I don't give a fuck about points when you're fucking in 1, 2, 3. They dropped 2 spots. The last time we talked, they were the second in the division
Yeah, but you
behind the
have
Rangers.
those are 10 points right there that other people have. If we didn't lose in overtime, we lost in regulation, then we'd be in like last place.
They
in
have
the
the
Metro.
most.
I'll
They
take
have
the
the most.
overtime losses.
They have the most overtime losses in the whole fucking conference, bro. They have the most overtime losses in hockey.
Yeah, I know. They
How do
suck
you
in
get? How do
overtime.
you get there? They're
They
getting there
lose in
consistently.
overtime.
So they're not good enough to fucking put the last puck in the net.
That's facts. You're right.
I want to know. Here's what I want to know. Here's a statistic. You might not know it. We might have to do research.
We got heat.
How many of those overtime losses were they leading going into the third period and they couldn't hold the fucking lead?
Oh, that's
what I want to know.
That's a next week research type of thing because I'm not gonna be able to look that up right now. But it's bad though. Like more than half of those games.
We need to hire a guy that I just say obscure shit like that, and then he just gets the answer. Where's Thomas? Thomas can do it.
He's not. I
I've
don't know if
seen.
he's a big like
I
stat guy.
Why, dude? He's an accountant.
Yeah.
It's numbers. I mean,
Yeah.
he does. He did look like he was just a coffee run and copy paper guy. I mean, hey, they all have.
I
a
hope
use.
he's listening.
He could be our copy paper guy.
Yeah, we could have a little intern.
And he doesn't even need to wear his little sweater vest. He looks so cute. Casey was like, "Who is that guy?" I was like, "Bro, that's Thomas." She was, "Oh shit, I didn't recognize him when he wasn't all crazy and shit." I was like, "Oh, yeah, either did I for a minute there. It took me a second."
Oh man.
Anyway,
Anyway,
let's go football.
Let's go football.
Let's just save my abusive final thoughts for last in regards to the Mets.
Okay. Well,
if you're okay with that,
yeah, that's fine.
are you sure?
Yeah. Shut up.
All right, cool. Thank you.
So, most of my notes are kind of from like the Christmas game, but the Giants, that was something. The Giants game, that final throw at the end, I thought was hilarious. I don't know why, but they gave themselves a chance. Though they gave themselves a chance against the Eagles that game on Christmas.
Yeah.
Was it the Eagles? Am I tripping on that?
The Eagles, yeah, that was. I'm pretty sure they pulled DeVito early in that game.
Yeah. Okay. All right.
We didn't talk. We didn't talk about this last time.
I'm 90% sure we didn't.
Really? We met right after Christmas.
Did we?
What the hell?
I thought we.
Oh, I don't know, man.
I don't remember. Whatever. Well, all right. So, if we did, blah blah blah, they lost to the Eagles, and then lost to the Rams somehow. I thought they would at least beat the Rams, but then they got a nice little win against the Eagles again to
end out the year.
To end out the year, they got a nice little win. The whole I guess the whole DeVito thing is done because he just did not play him. Or didn't he? I think he came back in the last game, like just a little bit, but I think when I turned the game on though, he was not in, and I think it was Tyrod that was in. So that whole thing is over. But Giants season's over. But the Giants defensive coordinator resigned today. That's pretty crazy news because their defense was kind of ass this year. You want to say people be blunt about it? Not surprised, but so we'll
Good
see.
job.
Now they're on the DC search for that. Um,
Yeah,
but
I think the Giants, and I saw a tweet, and I really need to start screenshotting them so I know who they're from. So if somebody knows who it's from, comment and let me know where I saw it. But I saw a tweet that said the Giants are the only team in the NFL that could have been 10-7 or 1-16. Like they had the potential to be really, really terrible, or actually pretty decent if they just strung it together. Um, I think the DeVito thing was a nice story there. I think they needed that little mid-season, mid to end season pick me up. They were pretty close there for a while, almost sneaking into the postseason. But I think going into next year, they really have a lot of questions, especially as like besides of course who your defensive coordinator is going to be. They really need to know who their quarterback is going to be. I think there's a lot of uncertainty there. Obviously, they've got three guys with three different personalities, so and three different vibes, and the public perception of all three of them is a little bit different. So it's really just about who they kind of go with and what moves they decide to make there. But I think that's where the Giants have to start. They have to figure out who's going to be running that offense on the field and kind of branch out from there to fill the other needs.
Yeah, no, you're 100% right. Well, I guess we could talk more about what they need to do once the offseason kind of gets closer. So, like after the Super Bowl, and what they do and who they sign, who they trade for. So we can go more into depth with that when that happens. But for now, Giants season is over. DC search is on. Let's see where they go with this and who their starting QB is. I believe they came out and said Daniel Jones is probably going to be the starter next year, which is good. I like DJ, so we'll see how he does. Maybe he'll actually become this whole Eli persona, but he won't.
No,
All right, so the Jets had a rough go of it against the Browns. Honestly, as a Jets fan here, I did not really think they were going to come out and win against that team because they were trying to clinch a playoff spot, which they did. So shout out to the Browns for that. Um,
yeah, Joe Flacco saving the season.
Oh, Joe
It
Flacco.
makes you,
He's playing insane right now. And of course he is. Like
dude.
I
It
said
makes
before, New
it.
York team, New York players. And
It
he wasn't
makes you
even a
think.
player.
He was available too. The Jets easily could have made that acquisition, but they
Yeah,
passed on
he
it
was.
in
But they
favor of
passed
Zach
and
Wilson.
look where he's doing now. He's going to the playoffs and chance for
Good
the
for
Super
him. I
Bowl.
hope he
So
kind of hope he takes it all.
yeah, like I have nothing
Just
against the Browns. So like,
yeah,
we'll
they're
see.
just yeah. I mean, the Browns for the majority of my life, the Browns have been their color, like turd. They've been
Fair
terrible,
enough.
bro.
Okay.
The Browns went one or 2 years in a row, like had one win a year or like one win in 3 years. Like they were terrible, and then they draft Johnny Manziel and they draft Baker Mayfield, and those kind of Manziel wasn't even a that was a dumpster fire,
Yeah, I still
and
gotta
like
watch that Untold on Netflix.
Mayfield was just like good for
Well,
Mayfield. He got the
he's
Bucks to the
lighting up.
playoffs,
Yeah, he's lighting up
but
in Tampa Bay.
he's one of those dudes that just needed a change of scenery, and good for him. I'm happy for him. But like, man, the Browns, they just good for them. I really hope that they win, and then they'll probably go back to being just shit.
Yeah, so that was a stat night for almost everyone. And like we said, Joe Flacco went off. But big news before the last week of the season: the Jets and Dalvin Cook parted ways. And
Yeah,
honestly, I've never been happier. I'm just kidding.
it was a
It was a good
oh
part way though.
I honestly think that they how do I word this? Knowing what I know now about football, because keep in mind, guys, I did not know very much about the NFL before this season. This is the first season I've really been making a conscientious effort to get into it. I think the Jets signed Dalvin Cook as a insurance policy that Brees Hall was not going to be either healthy or any good. And the fact that Brees Hall, I think, has the potential to be top five in the game in his position. It really just it shows a lot of trust in the kid to let the really good veteran walk on a waiver wire towards the end of the year. And I
Yeah,
think
no,
going into next year, you know,
yeah, you're right. Like I think the Dalvin Cook experiment was definitely for like to have like that RB2 or even the RB1 in the locker room, but clearly it just did not work out. He was not very good. I was really excited for him to come to New York and play on the Jets because I loved him as a running back in Minnesota, but he just could not get it going. I don't know if it was the play calling for him or if it was just him, but he just could not get it going. So good part ways, he just signed to the Ravens practice squad without because he didn't clear waivers. So now he just played on the Jets, and now he has a chance at a Super Bowl because the Ravens look really good, and who knows, they might be
they
the
do.
actual winner. So we don't have to do too much on that. But other news, and this is kind of funny. We were talking about this earlier, but Wilson might is looking to be traded this this off season, and it's funny since I because the whole thing with me is like when I get a jersey, the player gets either signs away or gets traded. And now that I have my Zach Wilson jersey, he all of a sudden is now going to be traded. Though at least
Well,
they're going to look to be traded, so it's not confirmed yet, but we'll see. But the Jets did report out that they are going to look to trade him. Which, and honestly, what I want to say about this before your thoughts, can the Jets please do not draft a QB unless it's like another Tua situation where he's just drafted in the late rounds and he turns out to be good? Because I am tired of the Jets drafting QBs so high and it, nothing happens.
yeah. So my boss said that with the 10th overall pick, the Jets will be taking a defensive end or a defensive tackle. Same thing, different thing. Six and
Relatively the
one,
same.
third half dozen in the other. Yeah. Um, yeah. So I think if you all right. So I was listening to Rogers the other day, and Rogers was saying that initially he thought this was going to be a 1 year situation. So I think for the Jets, they kept Zach Wilson in the offseason even after acquiring Aaron Rodgers because they knew going into next year it would be Zach Wilson's team again, no matter what happens with Aaron Rodgers. But even Rodgers was saying, well, placeholder for a minute, what better person on a 1 year sort of what's the word I want to use? I don't know, sabbatical, if you will, from starting. What better person to learn from than Aaron Rodgers? Like on a 1 year deal, even if it cost the Jets two or three draft picks, it was worth the investment in Zach Wilson to have Rodgers there mentoring him. Now you kind of in a weird position because now like Rodgers is like, hey, I'm having a lot of fun actually. I didn't think I'd like it this much. So I want to play for 2 or 3 more years or however many more years. So it's kind of an interesting dynamic change for him. And there's just no more room for Zach Wilson. You can't just hold on to the kid until Rodgers decides he's done. Like you
Yeah,
might as well just try to get something.
I think Rogers, sorry to interrupt you, but I think Rogers has a little bit more years than just 1 year in him. I think it came out today that he wants to play through like past 2024 as well. So, yeah, we'll see what happens with Rogers though. Um, I don't know how to feel about the Wilson thing. I thought maybe they give him one more year before deciding, but maybe we'll see how the draft goes. Well, I guess we'll have like a little draft preview before the draft comes up.
Ooh,
Um,
draft preview.
for the both New York teams. Um, but for now, like I said, don't draft a QB. But yeah, let me. I think I had one more thing, and oh
Maybe the
yeah,
Jets will just trade for Zach Wilson.
maybe. But the Jets finally beat the Patriots. Thank God. I was really
They,
happy. So
for
happy
all
they finally beat
intensive,
the Patriots.
for all intensive purposes, especially with how this year's gone for the Jets, they destroyed them. 17
Yeah,
to 3 is like that's a domination game for the Jets right there.
yeah, I mean, it was pretty dominated by the Jets, but also at the same time, it was really snowy, so both teams kind of just sucked, and I think they were just both done with their seasons and didn't really care anymore. But for the Jets, it's a good moral victory to beat the Patriots finally
Yeah,
after like what 15 years. So,
too long.
and I know we're Jets and Giant fans here, and we don't like the guy, but you have to just give him a little respect. So congrats to Bill Belichick, and then great career if he's done with his career, or good luck on your next team because he's a star-studded coach that everybody knows. What he did with Brady and that whole Patriots team through those years. So as I hate you, but I love you, or I respect you. It's one of those three. So good for him wherever he goes. Or congrats.
Where do you think he goes?
I don't know, honestly. I think he might return back to the Pats just because I just got an alert that um Kraft and him just met on today, I believe it said. So we'll see. Maybe it's either I guess it'll come out maybe after the Super Bowl probably that where he's gonna go because I don't think teams are
They
gonna
should
look.
just fire him already if you're gonna do it. Jesus Christ.
True. Yeah, I agree with that. And then you also have Harburg who wants to come back, from Michigan. So he might want to come back into the league. So, there's going to be a lot of coach movement coach movement this offseason. We saw the Falcons coach get fired today, and Ron Rivera was also fired. So that's the
Yep.
Falcons and Washington Commanders. So we'll see. We'll see what happens. All right. So we can move on. I guess we can move on to baseball. So you want to give an update to who the Mets and Yankees signed? Actually, I want to give one little update before you do that. The Blue Jays signed IKF from he was on the Yankees. He was pretty well known, pretty good guy.
Gold Glove shortstop.
Yeah, so I've been hanging on to that note a little bit, and I just want to get your really quick thought on what you think of that. Do you think that's a right move for the Yankees to let him go? Right move for the Blue Jays?
Yeah, I don't think the Yankees. It's kind of funny actually because I remember when the Yankees traded for IKF. They kind of got fleeced into that deal. Honestly, like the way everything kind of worked itself out. The Twins wanted to dump Donaldson. The Yankees were like, "Oh, we'll take them all." So not only did they give up, I know they give up Gary Sanchez and a couple of pieces here and there, but they spent a lot of money to get IKF, and for him to be done after 2 years is kind of like that's just the Yankees analytical department failing again, in my perspective. Um, I know IKF, the dude didn't hit very well at all, but
Mhm.
Gold Glove season at shortstop. Didn't really have a spot for him last year. It's probably a good move to let him walk, especially with what the Yankees needed. They needed to get a little bit more left-handed, um,
Yeah,
and they
so
did
why don't
that.
we
So
transition into who the Yankees have signed in the last week?
I don't even know who the Yankees have signed in the last week, honestly.
Yeah, they've been kind of quiet, I believe.
Yeah.
So
So the
not too much
the
like making news, I guess. I'm
yeah.
assuming
So the
maybe.
last time I checked, the Yankees were one of the only teams that hadn't made a free agent like signing yet. I just think the Yankees.
Well, they signed Kevin Smith to their roster. Um,
Okay.
so he's the former A's third baseman.
At that point, just put
Um,
me on the roster.
yeah, might as well. So that's one signing they made, and I'm looking at this now, and it seems like the Stroman and is linked to the Yankees, which I really doubt he wants to play in New York again, regardless if that's Mets or the
Stro-
Yankees.
so so Stroman, right? Like he, I don't like Marcus Stroman. I don't.
Yeah, I don't think
And I
anybody
just
does anymore.
I feel like Marcus Stroman thinks Marcus Stroman is Roger Clemens or Pedro Martinez or Jacob DeGrom or Garrett Cole. He is a very, very, very solid, if not a very, very above average pitcher. He is not an ace. I think the problem with Marcus Stroman that he's a little bit too big for his own good, if that makes sense. He's a little bit um, self centered, I think. And so I remember, um, you remember when the Mets traded for him? He was in the Blue Jays clubhouse. This is reportedly. We don't know. Obviously, we weren't there. I don't even know if you know this because I'm just a freak. But he's in the Blue Jays clubhouse. They come in, hey, you've been traded to New York or whatever. He's like, oh, great, I'm going to the Yankees. And he was like, no, you're going to the Mets. And the dude just freaked out. He started throwing chairs, breaking stuff, allegedly, whatever the story was, cursing, screaming, yelling. He was pissed. Goes to the Mets, pitches the rest of, what was that, 20, I guess, 19, sits out 2020. 2021, he's on the Mets, and then he's talking shit about how the Yankees spend all this money. They never get anywhere. He doesn't understand why they're not better than what they are. And then, I need to be there because I'm going to be great over the next 5 to 7 years, blah, 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 right? This offseason comes around, and his agents are calling the Yankees like, hey, Stroman really wants to pitch for you guys. Why would Cashman want that? Why would you want to add that to your clubhouse?
I don't know. I don't think they even want to even think about that,
They
but
wouldn't
they
even
also need pitching, so
they wouldn't even entertain the dude's phone call. And honestly, I think that's a great idea because if you look at how Marcus Stroman would pitch in that stadium, I think the dude would get lit up.
oh yeah, the Yankees fans would tear him apart if he threw a
Well,
curveball over the wherever.
well, yeah. Not only that, but I think physically, like he would just get lit up. Like I don't think he would keep the ball in the ballpark.
That too.
I don't think he's not a ground ball pitcher, or at least he's not. I
No,
don't know.
he gives up those big bombs. You're right, and especially with that short right field, you know, he'd love to give up pitches like that were just either bombs or just still in play. So
Yeah.
if the Yankees
Yep.
are linked to him, just get unlinked with him. Like you don't need him
Yeah.
on your
Just
team. You don't
just
need that
just
cancer in your locker
yeah.
room.
Yeah. Don't do that.
Yeah,
I'm looking here. CBS Sports Yankees free agent tracker. Yankees have not signed a major league free agent this offseason. Only minor league deals.
yeah, I'm
Um,
looking at that too. They didn't really do much since the Verdugo trade.
you
It's just
well, I
mainly
mean, you
I'm
made
just
it
looking at
after this.
transactions.
Bro, Soto was after Verdugo.
Yeah, I guess officially. Um, so with that though, the Mets signed two people, right? You want to give that update real quick? They signed two
Mm-hmm.
people, one yesterday.
Sorry. Um,
Well, I guess I can give the update a little bit too. Harrison Bader from center field, and the pitcher Maneo.
yes.
Maneo, am I saying that
Yes.
right?
Did we talk about this Tyrod? Just wait to see. All right. Did we talk about this Adrian Hauser Tyrone Taylor trade
Yeah,
with Milwaukee?
because I was reading that and I was
Yeah.
like, yeah, we did.
Yeah. I mean that is yeah. I mean this is just I feel like this is David Stearns doing what he needed to do this season was to build depth. I mean that's a great trade. It adds a starting pitcher, or at least a guy who could be potentially a starting pitcher into your mix. Taylor is going to be a fourth or even a fifth outfielder. I know I'm not going to get too deep into it, but when you look at some of these other moves like Diego Castillo, um, not really a big name, an under the radar pickup, something that the Mets have not been. Um, what's I guess the Mets have not had the ability to make a Diego Castillo kind of pickup. I think where it's a guy that nobody really knows, nobody's really sure of who he is or what he brings to the team, but he's an under the radar guy. He's probably going to be a 27th guy on a roster back and forth between AAA. So I think that it really provides the Mets with a little bit of depth. On the other hand, if you want to break down the Bader signing, Bader is friends with Alonso. They played together at Florida State. Bader's going to bring
Just
speed.
Florida, just Florida, not Florida State.
Oh, he was a Gator, right?
Yes,
Gator?
yeah,
Gator. All right, I apologize. That's where Tebow went, right? Tebow?
yeah,
Heisman?
yeah.
the quarterback turned right fielder turned tight end? Hey,
Yeah.
what's up? Matt, I got you a surprise, but we'll go over it after we stop recording here in a minute.
Okay.
So Bader, speed, defense, 77 career steals, 19 caught stealing. So he's got a rather impressive success rate swiping bags. But Sean Manaea, I mean, this is a rotational piece that was brought in just to eat innings. I mean, I don't. Everyone's shitting on the Mets offseason. I don't see why it's so bad.
No,
Like
it's not
they,
bad at all yet. Yet.
like they, like if you take Manaea, his total contract, so was it 28 million over 2 with an opt out?
Yeah. Something like
So
that.
okay, all right. So take the 28 million, add it to Bader, 10 million, add it to who's that dude? Severino. That's another 10 million. That's 48 million dollars on 3 guys who, when healthy, are quality players. Instead of paying Scherzer $43 million for the full year.
Yeah.
Do you know? So when the Rangers traded for Scherzer, right? I was talking to Bryan about that trade. And I was like, yeah, so the dude signed a 7-year deal with the Nationals that had half of the contract deferred. So instead of being 30 million a year for or 28 million a year for however it broke fuck. It was 14 million a year for 15 no, fuck me. 15 million a year for 14 years instead of 30 million a year for 7, right? So then Scherzer signs with the Mets, so it's 43 million a year. It blew this guy's mind. Bryan was like, "Wait a second." So he's getting paid by 2 teams, $58 million, and he's not even pitching for any of them because he's pitching in Texas. I was like, "Yes, pretty much." So
Baseball.
like, yeah, literally. So I just think that like the Mets are they're allocating resources to more effectively fill holes on the roster that would have otherwise not been filled. Like I would rather these 3 dudes at mid potential than Scherzer going 11-11 with a 4 ERA for
Yeah.
$43 million.
Yeah, I
The same
agree.
amount of money.
Yeah. Honestly, any signing would just be like I like both signings so far. I think we'll see what happens. I think he's going to continue signing these depth players. So good job by David Stearns. I like both signings so far. But we'll see what happens. But yeah, that's really just we don't. I think last time we went a lot about MLB, but we don't since it's off season. We don't really have to go too much into it. But I think that really kind of wraps up everything we wanted to talk about. I
Do
think
we
I
do
had
we
a
can
little bit side points. I think I said the Pistons finally broke their streak. I don't know if I mentioned
Yeah,
that.
I won money on that. I put like $20 on. Nah, I put $20 in my DraftKings account and I was betting $1 a game.
Yeah, no, that was smart. I think we said we were gonna do that, and
Because
of
you'd get it
course, like the next
eventually.
game, the next 2 games that they had left, they finally won. So yeah, won a little money
Hang
on
on.
that
Let me pass that stat along. So the Detroit Pistons lost 28 or 25. How many games in a row?
28, I think,
28 games in a row. They just didn't fucking win.
since October.
It's horrendous. They haven't won since October.
Yeah, it was 28.
It's terrible. It's absolutely terrible. So they're pretty fucking terrible.
Yeah, and then I hate to do this, but because I
Yeah.
went to the game on Saturday, St. John's beat Hofstra, which I'm still kind of mad,
There
but
we
they
go again.
covered the spread. Hofstra covered the spread, so that's all that matters to me.
This is Matt's time to shine.
That's all I got. But
You
all
want to
right,
add
yeah.
anything?
So I think we're good with
Do we
this episode.
do we shut the fuck up. Do we congratulate the Bills because they are or no?
Yeah, I guess so. AFC champs,
I
congratulations,
mean,
Bills. There's your Bills talk. All right, so I think this is a great place to cut us off right now. Talked about a lot, and that's mostly your updates. So, Bryan, I think you have to do what you did last week on that podcast and cut us off right there. So, make sure to follow us on all our socials. Listen to us on Spotify, Apple. Listen, watch us on YouTube, all that stuff. Shout out to Michigan and Washington real quick for the college football playoffs. They're currently playing right now, and Michigan's winning. So shout out to both of those teams for making it. And all right, Bryan, why don't you sign us off?
The words of Billy Madison, Nib High Football Rule.